Hi everyone, I'm Jessica from McLaren's Lawyers, and I've got Diane Abood with me from, she's an associate here at McLaren's as well, and we're going to have a chat about leases today.
Thanks, Jessica. So, Jessica, the first question I have from my end, have you ever had a problem with your landlord or tenant because they haven't read the terms of the written lease?
Yeah, so most leases are really well written, and if you have a read through it, it will solve or give you the answer to any problems that you have, but not always. And also, if someone hasn't read the lease, undoing the harm caused by that person, it can be quite difficult and time consuming. So already this year, I've actually had a very similar situation happen to two of my clients. And it's something that can happen really in any situation, whether it's residential leases or retail leases. In one of these examples in particular, it was a landlord of retail premises, and the tenant had decided on their own accord that without asking for the landlord's permission and without the landlord's knowledge, they would go ahead and install solar panels on the roof of the building above the shop that they operate from. Now, this created two problems for the tenant. The first is that they don't lease the roof space, it's not owned by them either. And the second is that, well, to install solar panels, you have to fix it to the roof. In other words, on installing the solar panels, they become part of the building and therefore part of the landlord's belongings. Now, the landlord, on the other hand, also has two problems. The first is the tenant never gave the landlord the opportunity to inspect or assess the safety of the roof, which leads to questions about obviously safety, security and insurance. And the second is now the landlord has to assess the tenant's behaviour, go get some legal advice and work out what they would like to do about the situation. If the landlord is minded to allow the situation to continue, he can obviously give a retrospective license to the tenant, and the license would set out the costs, the risks and responsibilities for the tenant. But if the landlord wasn't minded to allow the situation to continue, the landlord could either direct the tenant to remove the solar panels, or they can take steps to initiate the breach of lease or termination of lease procedures. So in an instant, both the tenant and the landlord's businesses can be turned upside down. So the best advice I can give anybody who's entering into a lease or looking at a contract is to read the lease and the document. That's the best thing you could do. So that's it for today, but we look forward to bringing you another episode shortly.
Thanks, Jessica. That was very helpful.